Happy lunchtime. I am coming back today. Can you believe I'm on live back to back? I came to talk about my lovely layered necklace and how it all correlates and relates to the loi of love, beauty, luxury, healing, Erzulie Freda. So if you don't know, now you know. I am selling these beautiful necklaces through Cash App because I don't have a store set up. So anyway, about the loi Erzulie Freda. She's widely venerated, a widely venerated deity across and known across many nations by many different names. And she is known more prevalently in Haitian voodoo. Hi, welcome. And New Orleans voodoo as the loi of romance, love, etc. And although today is Ogun's Day, I'm talking about this today because I put it on and I'm letting my phone charge before I go to the aquarium just to do some stuff. So I just wanted to come on and show you this and explain it. Like, how does this, the people probably be like, how does this, have to do with Erzulie Freda? And I had spent some time and meditated over it, and I wanted to share it with you. So here I am. So, what did I say? It was just so on my heart. What many are often misinformed about her is that she's also a loi that heals. She's not just about, relationships, sex, or flirtation, romantic love. That's not her only thing. And she also gives direction and protection. And despite much heartbreak that she goes through with the ways of the world, she's really, they say you find her a lot of times in a depressive state or crying, or many of you have probably experienced this, having dealt with her. A lot of depression or just sadness, seemingly for no reason. It could be because of a love lost or like a relationship that, failed, or just not what you hoped for. Always being kind of disappointed with something about maybe a love interest, or with just the ways of the world in general. With the ways of the world in general. That makes her cry at how heartless people can be. Because in spite of her spiciness, in dealing with her, there's a lot of intricate details, and when you don't meet those details, it's you could agitate in her energy or spirit, and then she doesn't really want to work with you. So because there's a lot of things that she requires, and it's just the way she is. And a lot of people find it hard to work with her because they find it hard to meet her expectations. And a lot of that sometimes has to do with what's going on in your heart, right? Because when you do something for her, she wants you to do it from your heart, not because you want something from her. And a lot of people are that way. They can't seem to get out of themselves or their selfishness versus doing something from the heart and being subservient to another. And that's a test on your character and what's going on within you. So sometimes if you call on this particular loi, and she does meet your request, she'll do what she says if you do what you say. And that's just the way it is. Really, the loi, no matter whether they're Rada or Petro or what have you, ain't to be played with or taken lightly. A lot of the shit you get away with dealing with humans on this plane in this realm don't go over well in the other realm, especially when you're dealing with the law of voodoo. You can pull them stunts like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you back, and you don't never pay back. Somebody, while a person, human, might not retaliate because they don't want to go to jail, or you find some way to avoid them. You can't avoid the law. You can, you gonna pay up, whether it's with your life or with something, an aspect of your life. But you don't mess around with the law when you say you're going to do something, or you are expected to provide a certain you're paid something for a favor. Okay, anywho, so each charm, so anyway, she does provide you protection and yada yada yada, healing as well as love, right? So a lot of people don't know that, but I broke down these charms because each of them represent an aspect of Erzulie Freda. The first charm, it's like a damn choker on me, is a herbal leaf. It looks like a cannabis leaf, but it actually represents herbalism, and that's because a lot of people don't know about her that she's a healer. One plant in particular that is very relative to the Lua of love, and even in lives before that, is the Holy Basil. Is relative to Erzulie Freda. Now, basil, in the times when we were blue people, and this is probably another subject for another day if you haven't heard, when we were blue people, or blue energies, blue beings, that she was turned, there's a whole Indian folklore or story or myth about being Vrinda, V-R-I-N-D-A, being turned into Tulsi as a veneration for her. Tulsi. If you could, or if you want to, you can look that up, or that story up, and see how it all is related. There you go. And anyway, so this looks like a cannabis leaf, but it represents herbalism and healing. And so a lot of people don't know that herbalism is one of the healing powers of Freda. So, and Holy Basil is healing in many ways. It's used for calming and soothing, especially when somebody's in an upset state, or a depressive state, or sad state. It can calm people down. It helps to treat skin issues and high blood pressure, anxiety, depression, sleep, and sex issues. Those are pretty much many aspects people don't know about the Lua, Erzulie Freda. Yeah, so I'm gonna repeat that. Let me just read you what I wrote about it. What looks like a cannabis leaf represents herbalism and healing. Did you know that the Holy Basil is a sacred plant conducive to Freda's healing power? Holy Basil is healing in many ways. Also called Tulsi, Holy Basil has benefits for calming and soothing, and helps treat skin. You know, she's the Lua of beauty too, and vanity. She's always in the mirror looking at her skin. High blood pressure, anxiety, depression, sleep, and sexual performance issues. Hey, if you got a problem keeping it stiff, give the little ass some basil, some holy basil, and see if it works out. Also, so then we, have the cross charm, and the cross. Many people will associate it with Christianity and Christ, but the cross represents a fulfilled promise. Okay, and there were many Christs before Jesus, but we won't go there. It also represents contradictions in balance. Okay, intersectionality as well. For Freda, this symbol is a sign that the world is filled with many troubles and we are not perfect. At every experience, cross, I'm sorry, I just made it go up. The Holy Spirit constantly provides divine intervention and freedom to do and be as we choose our own path. With hope, we will become one with it. So this represents hope as well. So it's not for Jesus, it's for intersectionality or the crossroads and meeting yourself. Then you have the hand of Fatima. The hand of Fatima, also called the Hamsa symbol, is a spiritual sign or symbol recognized in many organizations as a symbol of divine protection or protection from the divine, like the hand of God. It also represents power and strength. And you can consider it like I said, you consider it like the hand of God as an assurance of being kept by a higher source. Like you're covered, right? In many native cultures, making your hands visible was a sign of intentions to show trust, peace, and cleanliness, like to show your hands. So I thought that was pretty awesome when all that came to me, and that I should definitely annotate that in this representation of what all these charms meant on this beautiful necklace. So then there's the long stem rose, and in particular, it represents romance, or long-lasting love, or love that runs deep, which I think is so beautiful to get a long stem rose. Good morning. Hey. So yeah, a single stem rose is highly prized and treated very gently and delicately, because of their intensive growing processes, why they're so expensive as well, or considered an expensive plant. But did you know rose oil also is an extremely expensive oil? It's like one of the most expensive oils, essential oils, next to helichrysum and frankincense. Okay, so those are some pretty expensive, at least the most expensive 3 oils, essential oils, when you get them full potency, natural. They're the expensive to extract. So anywho, the long stem rose represents many things depending on their color also, like passion, affection, admiration, friendship, enchantment, innocence, purity, freedom. And now that's very all Erzulie. Did you also know that the hand of Fatima, there's a Greek organization that their symbol is an ivy, which is still, the whole organization is was spiritually founded long time ago, and Erzulie Freda was a big reason for that organization. Anywho, the ivy looks like that, right? Which is, or like the hand of Fatima. And they kind of go one and the same, which is really interesting. And a lot of people who are even a part of this organization don't know or haven't accepted, you know, the foundational truths of the establishment of the organization, being founded in, or not by, but founded in voodoo. Ha! Ha! I mean, her colors are pink and green and gold. Anywho, I'll let you find, cite that for yourself and all. Thank you. But yeah, the hand of Fatima, which like I said, represents admiration, friendship, loyalty, freedom, and some other things as well, correlates with the organization, the Greek organization in reference. So the long stem rose is really a very Those are my colors, like my favorite ever. But I thought was pretty interesting too about this charm. And the last charm, of course, is the heart. Like, I mean, her veve is shaped partially like a heart, right? And the texture of this charm, it's a little prickly. It's like a little rough. And I think that is kind of metaphoric for like the pains and past hurts and people's hearts usually being a little callous because of the conditioning of the world. So our hearts are you know, a little rough. We're a little rough around the edges, right? Is that what that means, like, right? And then yet and still, it's open. It's open. And I think that's really important for us to remember, to keep our hearts open in spite of the traumas and pains we experience. You know, so that we keep our hearts open to receive and to be filled constantly with love and light. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to explain about this beautiful, beautiful necklace. I'll probably, even if I say this one may come on and you know, do that whole spiel again. And I just thought it was really interesting. And I was like, I wanted people to know like what exactly you're buying this necklace for. And it is all very much Erzulie Freda connected. But I wanted you to know how it was actually Erzulie Freda connected. So I was being nosy, huh? Anywho, I hope that you have a wonderful afternoon. Today is the day actually in Haitian Voodoo that we venerate Ogu Farai and his warrior energy. But you know that Ogu is not just a protector. He is also a Loa that is called on for love to. Now, I was studying this and I did this with him, this meditation, in studying him and listening to him, and it was like hard to believe that him and Barum were also Loa that could be serviced for or requested for relationship issues and things like that. But the one thing though about Ogu Farai, Ogu, is that it's not necessarily about him being a warrior, as much as Ogu Farai was a strategist. He was a communicator. So he was about technology and using technology to fight, right? So he was extremely intelligent, and I believe his relevance to the matters of love had to do with communicating, because he's a communicator, as well as it just slipped the top of my brain when I have ideas that come to me from spirit and then I'm talking about something already. But anywho, yeah, he's a major communicator, a major strategist. He thinks things out. So when it comes to, and then of course a protector, and he looks, he's ahead. He's always ahead on steps, on plans. So he knows what you're gonna do. So like he's if you were playing chess, on with a chessboard, like Ogu Farai is the master chess player. Like the art of war is that's him. That book is filled with his energy and the way that he thinks. It's super relative. And not just communication, but art, or war as in art. Martial arts, iron, swords, technology, that all is, it's all relative. So anywho, that's a little bit I had to share. I don't usually even talk about the Loa a lot. But when it comes to love, I'll talk about any of them. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope that you learned something from me today. Each one teach one. Do your research. Do your own research. Go in for yourself. Make a connection with the ancestors and the spirit guides that you have, so that you can get information from them to really go in deep on who you are and how to deal with that, deal with other energies, especially not just the ones that are not in this realm. I mean, not the ones that are not in another realm, but the energies that we're dealing with in this realm. Because I was having a conversation with someone, and I was explaining that sometimes people don't even realize who they're working for. They, you know, we're like, oh, Jesus is on my side and all this bullshit. And then it's the enemy. They're the straight enemy, because it's what's in their heart. It's nasty. It's wicked. And so they do things purposely to, and they actually not purposely, they do it subconsciously, because, or without consideration for anybody or anything. So and it's almost like they're purposely being disrespectful, but they're just so fucking ignorant they can't even help themselves. It's people like that. It's people that do that. It's some people who do it, who it's subconscious, and some people who do it consciously. And they don't know why they do it. They just get some sort of gratification from like purposely pissing people off or moving energy. But there is dark energy. They're not there to be a love and light or to show care and concern or anything. They're just there for themselves to be freaking wicked. And it's really sad. And we should really try to be more considerate and mindful. First of all, mindful, because you got to be mindful in order to be considerate. But mindful of who you are and your space that you're taking and how it affects other people. But you first, why? What in your heart makes you do the things you do and say the things you say? People don't evaluate themselves enough, you know, before they go out and they, you know, they just want to fucking be seen, or they want to be, you know, acknowledged in some sort of way because they lack some sort of knowledge of self. They lack something in themselves. Self-love. Most of the times, people run around with a bunch of self-hate. So they, you know, impose on the rest of society. And it's like, well, I'm just me and I'm going to do this, da-da-da. But, go work on that. But anywho, I just like went on a whole tangent and rant. But you feel me? And that's just real shit. We have to do more inner reflections before we try to, you know, build a community or try to talk and work with other people. Work on yourself. Like, people act like they just cannot be alone. That's why people walk around talking on the phone in the grocery stores extra loud and shit, because they're searching for they're searching for something. They're searching for attention, some sort of fulfillment. It's some sort of pacifier for insecurities and issues within themselves. And that shit needs to be healed. You know, it needs a lot of healing. And when I get into my little moods and things, you won't hear from me for a minute. I don't even answer my phone. I put that on do not disturb. You know, people don't like being alone. And that's sad. Like, I'm going to the aquarium by myself in a few minutes, as soon as my phone charges pretty decently. Just so I can order me a lift to and fro. I want to make sure I got enough charge for that. But I'm going by myself because I just want to be with me and the animals, or I just want to go somewhere by myself. And I don't like talking on the phone when I'm shopping. First of all, I'm not a multitasker like that, and I got to concentrate. What you're talking about ain't that fucking important. I can't talk to you later. So I holler at you. Maybe I'm just old school like that. I don't know. But yes, enjoying your own company, being alone is healthy. You get to talk to you. You be your best friend first. Be your own best friend first. Because nobody knows you better than you. Your higher self is trying to have conversations with you, and you got all this other, you know, junk intercepting or making your reception totally like horrible. Spiritual diet. Communication with the conversations with other people ain't always healthy. What are we talking about that's going to better our lives? Let's have that conversation. If you ain't talking about that, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk on the phone about what? You know? Yeah. So, anywho, any questions for me while I'm on? Because I don't like when people DM me questions, but I don't mind answering them while I'm live. I don't like texting. I don't like texting, especially like having a conversation via text. And I just I was forced to by the Georgia Department of wherever you pay your tags at, and they like give you the options, especially those automated freaking text things. Oh, they're the worst. But I don't want to have a conversation via text. I need to hear your voice. I need a tone. I need to be able to like read where this is coming from. You know what I'm saying? So I know how to move. You know what I mean? I want to use all my senses. I want to be able, but I need to hear. Very auditory, auditorily sensitive. So you can hear things when you don't hear things. You know what I'm saying? You hear certain words, and words have meanings, right? So that's the way I like to communicate. I want to talk. Don't be fucking texting me. I don't like that shit. I'll ignore that shit on purpose. Because people think when you text them that you have to immediately text back. No, ma'am, the girl. No, ma'am. No, sir. I'm not going to. I don't have to text you back. You text me. That means I have the freedom to reply whenever the hell I feel like it. And if I get around to it, I might. Maybe it's going to be a one-liner. It's probably going to be a one-liner. You're going to type all that. And I'm going to have yes or no. Maybe. I don't know. One of those 4 or 5 responses. Because I don't like to text. It's so childish in elementary. When we should be able to fully communicate our thoughts and ideas, even with our tones, even if we don't use the words, having the tone, because energy is impressionable. You can feel it. You can feel energy. So if somebody's saying some shit to you, you know when they being sarcastic. When somebody's talking to you on the phone, you know when they being real or passionate about it, or if they're upset, and you can ask questions to get clarity versus my thumbs hurt just thinking of just doing that little thing right there. That's it. Anyway, I'm out of here, y'all. Have a good one.